Welcome to International Securities Exchange's podcast series. Facilitated by renowned educators, ISE podcasts are intended to teach beginning as well as seasoned investors the ins and outs of trading. To find an updated list of podcasts, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts. Please be sure to listen to our important message following this episode regarding the risks of investing in exchange-traded options.
Hi, everyone. This is Elena Levine from the ISC. Just wanted to thank you for joining us this afternoon. We're very pleased to have with us again Jack Crooks, founder and president of Black Swan Capital, an independent advisory firm specializing in foreign exchange and currency markets investing for retail and institutional clients. Jack is a seasoned financial Black Swan is a seasoned financial advisory with nearly 20 years of investment experience. Jack uses both quantitative and qualitative approaches to determine the fundamental driving forces behind the movements of the currency, capital, and commodities markets. Jack is also the co-editor of the Black Swan Currency Strategist and Black Swan's free daily e-letter called Currencies. Jack also founded Ross International Asset Management, a discretionary money management firm specializing in global stock, bonds, and currency asset management for retail clients. Previously, he was general manager of Plexus Trading, where he specialized in currency futures and commodities trading. He also served as the chief currency and futures strategist of M2 Futures, an investment boutique headquartered in Chicago, as well as Vice President of Global Strategic Research for an international investment boutique, where he was responsible for providing daily advice and global strategy analysis. Prior to entering the investment arena, Jack had held various corporate finance positions. He's written extensively on the subject of global currencies and international economics and has been published in Asian Times, Futures Magazine, Barron's, Bloomberg, Dow Jones, Newswire, and other financial websites. He has also appeared frequently on TV, including Bloomberg TV, CNBC, and Fox News, Business News. So I'm going to turn it over to Jack. Welcome. And let me know if you have any questions. You can just send me directly.
Hi, Lynette. How are you?
Good, thanks.
Can you see the document now? Okay, good. I just shared the desktop. Apologize if having trouble technically on this stuff today. Thanks for that introduction, that long introduction of my vast career, if we could call it that. Again, just thank you to the ISC for giving me the opportunity to present some ideas today. And I guess I probably want to preface this webinar as this is probably the hardest preparation I did for a webinar. And the reality is because it's the act of valuing a currency at a point in time or trying to make a projection in the future is a very, very difficult thing to do. Needless to say, there's all types of methodologies, there's all types of special indicators, all types of things you can use. But I tried to go about this more from a standpoint of, what are the things that we do know about currencies that we really can hang our hat on, and what are those things that we don't? And the reality is there's not a heck of a lot we do know. And the reality is there's no holy grail whatsoever here. And that's part of the problem when we come to currency valuations. In all honesty, this is, as I said, very tough for me. Producing this webinar. Hopefully you'll find something useful in it, in that I find myself, because I've been doing this so long, I tend to get wrapped up on my own story, my own ideas. I make it too complicated. I look for the Holy Grail indicator, charts, those types of things. And this analysis that I'm presenting today, or at least this attempt at an analysis of how currencies are valued today, was really what I started out with when I first started trading many, many years ago. And I think you find that if you've traded long enough, you start off a simple approach that may work, and then all of a sudden you search for the Holy Grail, and you go all around and you try and find the perfect indicator. You get wrapped up in your own knowledge and your own abilities, and think you tend to know it all, and you tend to fall in love with your story. And the reality is, That's what I've done this year, more so than I've had for a long time. Our performance this year has not been good, and I think it's a process because of the fact that we've gotten wrapped up in our story and believe in our own story and idea. So this is kind of a come back to a simpler approach, so you can evaluate here, or at least help you evaluate some things that, as I said, you can really hang your hat on in terms of currency valuations. And there aren't many things out there. So hopefully, maybe you have some questions at the end, which would be, probably the better way to go through this. And I'll try and move through this fairly quickly. Hand it over to Elunet to talk a little bit about the FX options and the ISE, and then we'll take some questions, and it may be better from that approach. First, our disclaimer. Hopefully, everybody can see that okay. Quickly, chart about the ISE FX options. ISE has recently added some new FX options. Besides the 6 major currencies now trading on the FX options on the ISE side, we have New Zealand dollar, Mexican peso, and Swedish krona. They're the recently added currencies, and it's quite a nice list, needless to say. Obviously, Elunet can talk to this about some ideas going forward that ISE is going to add. But again, the beauty that I think, or at least the bottom line of the ISE FX options product is, number one, it's fairly simple to understand. Number two, it can be traded in your regular brokerage account. You don't need a special Forex or futures account. Number three, it's very transparent. You can see the prices every day right on your screen. You can trade online at very low cost, and they've emulated stock options in these things. They're basically just stock options. They look just like stock options. Again, the only difference is that you're trying to make a decision on the underlying, which is a currency, as opposed to a stock or some type of stock index or ETF basket type of thing. The only difference is really the underlying. You can play all the strategies in these that you can with any other type of stock options. Again, if you're going to get into short-term strategies, you probably want to stick with the more liquid FX options, would probably be the euro, Canadian dollar, yen, those types of things. But in general, you can do the same strategies. Okay, this idea of value, I guess you could really start with this first line when you say, how do you value a currency? You could talk about this first sentence, the current exchange rate, and say that's the value, and go home, because ultimately that is the value at a point in time. So I guess this webinar should really be about how to try and determine value going forward based on some solid things that I think you can understand, some rationales that make sense. But at any point in time, the fact that the market gives you a price and exchange rate, that is the value at that point in time. It really is that simple. It's a subjective theory of value. What a person is willing to pay at any point in time in the market ultimately is the best representation of value at that second. And that is really, I think, the best and the most you can say. That's a reality-based recognition of value. Obviously, in that valuation process, it embodies all the ideas and the discounting and thoughts and of everything we know, rational and irrational, that is in the price. And all those things definitely have a pull and an impact. And with millions of people having different ideas of value, we come down to one particular exchange rate, that is the valuation, which is the beauty of the market. It brings everybody down to a certain price regardless.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. To find more podcasts on options, stocks, alternative markets, and market data, please visit www.ise.com/podcasts.